So I don't know how to start this video.
Oh, that's easy. You know, the 80s was a very unique time because a lot of superhero franchises Franchises got their start in the 80s.
Yeah, French's big boy.
I forgot when Superman started. I think it was the 70s.
78, 79?
Yeah, but you know, in that 80s crosshair.
It was pretty much the 80s.
Yeah, so you got Donner's Superman.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're like, that got gangbusters. And people are like, you know what? What's next?
We got to ride that moment.
Yeah, can we do Spider-Man? No, that's too expensive.
Too much money.
And we do not have the technology quite yet to pull that off.
And I'm glad they thought that.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Wonder Woman? No.
Women?
Yeah,
You cares about women.
Who the hell cares about Wonder Woman? No, that won't make any money.
Nah, zero. What's left, man?
X-Men? That's popular.
Nah, too
many
many people.
characters. Yeah, too many characters. We
gotta pay too many actors. I already don't like them.
What's that other guy in the tights? You know that people like Daredevil? Who the hell is that?
Nah. We're in the wrong comic book company now. We gotta Mr. Marvel? Nah, too many lawsuits.
I got it. The Cape Crusader himself. Batman.
Yes. So, I have 10 pages worth of notes for this.
For all movies? For all the movies?
Well, combined, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, combined.
What about to be for this first one?
No, that's 3 pages for the first one. I think each of them get approximately 3 each.
I'd say around 3.
So, right now, for All or Nothing, which me and Brandon did the first 2, we got one franchise that was murdered. That was Independence Day. That thing's all up out of here. Goodbye.
Uh-huh.
And then the Unbreakable trilogy lived on because that thing was super good. But right now we're doing something that
near and dear to all of our hearts.
Exactly. So, and not just us, many people out there.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is the Batman Quad-rilogy. It is the Batman 89 to Batman and Robin, and we're starting with Batman 89. My first note is great introduction for Batman, and I love it. The famous "I'm Batman" scene. You know, frickin' Superhero Cafe rips it off every time they put out a damn. No matter what they're talking about, they're like, I gotta rip that off.
Batman doesn't even have to be in the scene for them to say
and Batman's not the only one with a great introduction. Jack Nicholson gets one of his own.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much to love about 89's Batman. I think it's not until the 3rd page that I even have a complaint about this damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either the tail end of this or the top end of the other one, but like for the greater majority of 89's film, I was like, could this be the best Batman movie ever made? And spoiler, at the end of the film, I think they fall off a cliff, but
literally.
There's a high fall at the end, yes.
There's a high fall at the end, yes, that's great. I like that. I didn't do that on purpose.
No, it's okay. It's called a lob, and then Brandon just goes ahead and just knocks it out of the park.
I love it. But yeah, so we meet a guy who I think that they wanted to be Harvey Bullock, but it's Lieutenant Eckhart, and I was like, this guy, he is definitely a sellout. As soon as I meet him, I'm like, this guy is dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, he's not the only person that I've never met from the Batman universe. Like in a comic, because I got plenty.
I'd say a lot of source material to work with.
But yeah, there's a guy who's known as Knox. He's almost like a Jimmy Olsen type role in this because he works with Vicky Vale, playing the very Lois Lane role herself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's one of my favorite characters that I didn't expect to love throughout. He questions Batman, and honestly Bruce Wayne for that matter, and it's just nice to have that that perspective throughout the film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this is it's a classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. From I think the staging with the lights, this is really like has a gothic feel to it, which I that's great.
Gothic and Gotham.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that really, they nailed that. and it's kind of funny reading all the like the history behind it, where people didn't want Michael Keaton as Batman. They actually hated that idea.
So the thing that I love about that being brought up is it is so common, seemingly. So people disliked Heath Ledger being the Joker. People disliked Ben Affleck being cast as Batman. It's like, it's so...
Even Henry Cavill, he's British. I remember
he's
that.
British. How's a British guy gonna be playing?
The
Sorry.
The all-American.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I just find it interesting how that is a common occurrence, if you will, with castings.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I was getting at. Is like, it's interesting how that plays out.
Yeah, it's just before the age of the internet, so it probably wasn't like as big, but it was still there, which is very interesting.
Well, and here's the other thing. Now, I get where they're coming from, because in Keaton's case, he was very comedy-oriented prior to Batman. But after Batman, I can think of multiple serious roles, and one of my favorite Keaton roles outside of Batman is, oh my goodness, the McDonald's film, what's it called? The Founder. There we go.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
I forgot about that movie.
The Founder is, I can't say it's my favorite Michael Keaton role, because how do you pick a best Michael Keaton?
Yeah, right.
But like, him playing Ray Kroc in The Founder was great, and even being the antagonist, or one of a couple of antagonists in the RoboCop reboot, was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Michael Keaton is just great.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal actor.
Yeah, great.
I get it though, as far as criticism on why people were worried about Keaton being Batman, because the only other like live action Batman we had at the time was Adam West.
And that, with him being known for comedies and them knowing, like you said, Adam West, I could see the fear of of a repeat.
Oh no, they're just gonna make this campy and funny.
Trust me, that was a time.
Like, and Keaton does good at bringing levity to Bruce, but never one time is Batman the character not serious.
Yeah, never played for laughs.
And this is one of the things that I love about DC. More than a little bit about Marvel. So, but I think it kind of started with Superman a little bit, but Batman nailed it. Is competent heroes who don't need to be dumbed down to for an action to happen. Yeah. It's like, hey, these dudes are competent. The bad guys are competent, and
nobody's stupid. So stuff just doesn't happen just because.
Right, just because it's like, hey, things play out like how they should play out. And I think Jack Nicholson is he's an interesting Joker. He works perfectly for this movie and the time that it was made. And that's for probably like most Jokers.
Well, and here's the fact of the matter is, he was so good that everybody was cast as a Batman villain after, within this iteration, wanted to be Jack Nicholson's Joker. Mm-hmm. There was no doubt about it.
That is 1,000%.
Yeah. And so...
sometimes to the detriment of the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I believe almost every time to the detriment of the movie. Whether it was Jim Carrey wanting to be Jack Nicholson, whether it was Tommy Lee Jones, Arnold Schwarzenegger, everybody wanting to be Jack Nicholson was. They were. I don't know if they were clout chasing, if they were trying to get that trophy or what it was, but yeah, come on, guys. Like, not everybody is the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
a common trap people still fall into. To this day.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm since we've spent so much time praising the film, I'm going to jump straight to my negatives, because it's a short list.
Yeah, I'm about to say, please remind me of the negatives, because I just watched this movie and I'm like, is there anything I hate about it?
So Bruce discovers where Joker is cooking up his laughing toxin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in an effort to sell toys, this is my opinion, they bring in this bat plane and he blows up the factory. But I would have not complained about this had the bad guys not been in the building. If it had been an empty warehouse where he was destroying where the stuff was being made, I would have been like, thumbs up, A-okay. But instead, Bruce, Batman, Michael Keaton, however you want to say it, kills a bunch of people. Instantaneously, I'm like, not a fan. Because to me, there's a big difference between intentionally going out and saying, oh, you're dead, or in the case of Batman Begins, saying, I don't have to save you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very similar to the climax of this film, where, well, it's not, I'm being too generous. It's not the same with the climax of this film, where Bruce says, or Batman, or Keaton, or however you want to say it, says to Joker, oh, if I created you, you created me first, because they have the tie back to Bruce's parents dying, and they accredit that death to Joker's prior identity, Jack Napier.
Yeah.
While as I don't find that to be necessary, I don't hate it, but what I do hate is Batman legitimately wanting to kill. That's what I dislike. And if that is the result of giving Joker a backstory of killing Bruce's parents, then don't ever do it. I, again, much prefer Batman Begins' version of events where Bruce is the bigger man, he's the better man, and he does not kill Joe Chill in Batman Begins.
Ooh, that's interesting. Because I kind of view it differently.
Sure, absolutely. And that's why we're all here.
Yeah, and Batman Begins, sorry, just side tangent. I get what you're saying.
Absolutely.
I always just viewed that scene differently because to me, he was going to go through with it until someone from the courtroom or outside the courtroom killed him.
They said, hey.
And then someone took that opportunity away from him.
That's how I viewed it.
That's how I kind of viewed that. But I get what you're saying.
Absolutely.
It's like, yeah.
And I'm sure I'm being generous, but I don't believe Bruce Wayne is a killer.
Right, yeah, I get it.
And so because it didn't happen, I give him the benefit of the doubt that he would not have done it.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Yeah.
I totally thought he would have did it.
I get you though. But
absolutely.
yeah, that's what the that's what
I'm sure that's my own personal desires that are causing me to feel that way. But those are literally my only two complaints. Yeah. I even put some notes in here of how I would have fixed it, which is, don't put the people there. Oh, I did think it was odd to have the ninja fight prior to the Joker fight.
Oh yeah,
like where'd Ninja Throwing Star guy come from?
Yeah.
But whatever. Just those few little nitpicks, and this would have been a 5 out of 5 great movie, perfect all around. However, because of the wanting to sell the toys at the end is the way I see it with the bat plane and the Ninja Throwing Star stuff.
It's the 80s. So.
And again, I think that the complaints I'm making, especially when it comes to selling toys, could be made to this very day.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think it is a very good movie that could have been great with just a few tweaks at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys?
I'll let your side go first.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 movie for me. It's one of the first Batman films I ever saw. I was really young when I saw this movie. I want to say I was like 5 or 6. And I saw this before I saw the Dark Knight trilogy. So this is literally the first Batman film I ever saw. Saw the animated series first, but regardless.
I would hope so.
Yeah. But regardless, I was like, I love this movie so much. Somehow I saw The Shining before I saw this movie. So I already had an instinctual fear. So that really helped enhance the Joker role for me. But yeah, for me, I love those movies so much, and it's 1,000% my favorite out of the Quad-rilogy. So
if only that was Joker's origin story.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
he was frozen, thawed out, and then to be fair, it's more logical for that to be an origin story for Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I know, but I just thought that'd be
Yeah,
funny.
but it'd be great. But yeah, Brandon.
I guess mine are minor nitpicks, and it just goes with, I guess, the times and them not having the stuff like, okay, the fight scenes, choreography, compared to now, it's bad, but you understand.
I'm about to say, don't compare.
Yeah. You see sometimes the wires, like when Batman,
Oh, yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
man, I see the wire, man.
Yeah.
And most importantly, the bat suit looks good, sort of, but the functionality, the always with the head turns, he can't turn his head. And
I
you
wonder
start realizing
if they'll
that.
fix that with the Flash movie, since Keaton's going to be there with Ezra.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a...
Are they actually putting the Flash movie out still?
From the yes, supposedly, but from the stills I've seen, he still can't move his damn neck.
Still?
From the stills I've seen, it looks like that Michael Keaton is looking forward and forward only. But I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, because I think that would be a fun.
To be fair, we haven't seen a move yet.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a movie.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and that's why I said the stills that I've seen.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
But yeah, it's like minor little things like that. That it's like nitpicky, but I understand because it's one of the not the first superhero movie, of course, but it's starting something new, and they're still trying to.
It
get
was
their way.
definitely well, I believe it was one of the most acclaimed superhero films.
Mm-hmm.
Of its time, or just period?
Well, I mean, up until its time,
Yeah.
like, because didn't Jack Nicholson win big time acclaim for it?
I thought he was nominated. Did he win?
I don't know if he won.
I don't
I know
think
that
he
he was.
didn't win.
I know he got big love. That's
Right.
all I'm trying to say.
I'm about to say his performance was 1,000% applauded, as it should have been, because it was great.
Yeah,
And I think he was nominated for an Oscar, but I don't know if he won.
I
for
don't
this
think he
role.
won.
Because I could have sworn, like, there was somebody said something like no superhero film has ever had an Oscar winner. Or something.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Except for like Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
winning.
except for Heath Ledger winning it post-mortem. So.
But and we didn't even talk about Vicky Vale at all.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit.
Well, we had to
So,
side mention, yeah.
I'll say this about Vicky,
VV.
which is good love interest story. But here's the other thing: has there ever been a bad Alfred? Because it doesn't matter if it's the original '89 up until the worst. Spoiler alert: the worst film of the bunch, which is the last one. Well, nah. The next
We'll
one's
get to it.
We'll talk about it.
So, but Alfred has always done well, is my
Yes.
point. I think in this movie he makes one slight surprising choice, which is basically outing Bruce and the Batcave. But I think that he would have done it anyway. Bruce, that is, not Alfred. But yeah, no, I think Vicky was a great addition, and
He was a good unexpected love interest.
and up until Chase Meridian, I think she's the best love. Well, even Chase Meridian isn't better than Vicky Vale, but
yeah.
but on equal standing.
yeah, absolutely. But like, well, let's get your result or your rating
Ranking.
before we move on to
4 out of 5.
4 or 5. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because I detest the next movie. Batman Returns, I think, is hot garbage. Like, at one point,
I wonder what words he was going to
At one point, I try and keep it clean here for the kids. So at one point, I gave this movie a 2 out of 5 stars. Calling
watch
it
the rest of
passable. Well, no, what happened was, as I'm typing my notes, because as I'm taking my notes, I have very little positive to say. And even Michael Keaton himself has very little positive to say. He thought, what's the point of me being in this movie? Literally, it's one of the reasons why he didn't come back, because he's like, was I even in that damn thing? But, so as I'm taking notes, I couldn't count the number of times I said, this Selena Kyle is not Selena Kyle, or this is not the Penguin I know. So many times, I take notes about how things are bad or wrong or irritating, basically, right? I love this note. I said, just feels like Tim Burton wanted the Joker to return to me. So many bad choices. Like, we get, once again, just like with Lieutenant Eckhart, we get a character I've never heard of, which is hard to do, when we introduce Christopher Walken's character of Max Schreck. Have you guys ever heard of Max Schreck before?
Nah.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't like this movie. Like I said, it is a fail to me. It is 1 out of 5. It is... So, the opening scene, we see a lavish mansion. And I think, oh, okay, this kind of mirrors the Wayne Manor. I think that's a fine open. And then the parents toss their kid in the float him down on down to the sewer. And I'm like, well, I already dislike this. And we jump 33 years into the future, and I don't like that either. We meet Max Schreck, who I already mentioned, Christopher Walken. Don't like that guy. He's a big old not pleasant person.
Big old not pleasant.
Well, again, trying to
Good-
keep
good-
it clean.
yeah, good censor.
Thanks.
Good censor.
Because if I wasn't trying to keep it clean, want them monetization money dollar bills. Speaking of YouTube and the algorithm and all that jazz, we're 20 minutes in, so let's ask for something we've never asked for before on the channel. If you're here and you haven't liked, please like. If you're here and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because somehow here on Mr. Super Oz, we get hundreds, sometimes thousands of views, but only 90 or so subscribers. And so, yeah, we would love it if you would continue to come back for the product, because you know, it helps make things go.
Yeah, and it keeps the morale up. Too.
Absolutely.
Like, seriously.
And
But
while,
yeah, for
while
sure.
we're shilling, and before we get back to the video, I have a 68-page graphic novel Brandon and Josiah are holding in their hands. This is the Jeff Hicks cover. That is the Nick Crook cover. There were only ever 100 of these printed. There were only ever 50 of these printed. If you would like to get yourself a copy, click the link in the description to pick one up for yourself before they sell out. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
So, back to this terrible
Like,
movie.
share, and subscribe, guys.
Yes, thanks, Josiah. Back to this terrible movie. Do you guys have anything that you would like to say redeeming? Because every note of this... Oh, wait. I finally said something good.
Oh, let's hear it.
I will give Tim Burton credit. Kyle listening to her answering machine saying, Selena, this is Selena. That was clever. But is that really something to write home about? No. One clever line. Wowzers.
So,
I'm blown away.
okay.
Yeah, Brendan.
This movie is very interesting. I'm just going to get my rating out the way. I'll give it a 2 out of 5. To me, Tim Burton was trying to make a tragic villain in The Penguin to me.
Mm-hmm.
And not understanding. To me, Tim Burton gets... Because I watch a lot of Tim Burton movies. He gets into a very weird headspace where he's like, oh, I'm going to do this with this character. And I guarantee you, he looked at the Penguin and he thought, this dude is really weird. I'm going to make him weird.
No. I'm going to make him weird.
Yeah, I'm going to make him weirder. He looked at the beak, his nose, and he was like, yo...
Let's make him a literal bird.
Yeah, right, and let's make him where penguins take care of him and stuff like that. Now, I guarantee you, that's what... So this is one of the things where the 80s and early 90s with superhero stuff, sometimes I like that they took liberties, because you get something new.
Something unique.
But a lot of times, they just go crazy with it. And I personally like the Penguin a lot as a villain, because he's very interesting.
Just you mean in this movie or just the character?
Oh, the character.
Okay.
The character of the Penguin.
Got
He's very just interesting and stuff like that. I don't want to get into like a character diagnosis. So.
Right.
Have you ever seen Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the animated movie?
Mm-hmm.
Penguin is perfect in that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking perfect.
Yes.
I think, depending on the medium, Penguin can either be the deepest villain Batman faces, or he can just be your base level, I just want money villain.
Mm-hmm.
And he works in both those occasions. And somehow this movie chose to do neither of those. Which...
He's very disgusting in this, I'll tell you
Right,
that.
yeah. Raw
he
fish,
ate the raw
yeah.
fish, which still stands out to me. I'm trying to remember. Did he have 3 fingers?
He is.
I wanted to say they literally gave him...
I think so.
Yeah, the webbed.
webbed, yeah.
fingers.
But he's also very, he's got that bad touch syndrome, I'll tell you what. He will not stop with the bad touch, especially with Catwoman. He's all like...
Yeah, and that's where the movie gets also like... So this is where they course corrected. When we get to the next movie, they course corrected
I'm
hard.
about to say they took the ship and just steered the
But
whole
it
thing.
makes sense because this movie isn't made for kids because it is very sexual.
Definitely more sexual than it needed to be.
Yeah, and the
Especially when we busted out that Catwoman outfit.
yeah, the Penguin is not the Penguin. Now I love Danny DeVito. I think if they gave him like the traditional Penguin,
I'm about to say, let's not sit here and crap on Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think he would knock it out the park.
It's not him, it's what he's told to
Right,
do.
the script.
Like,
Right.
here's your script, and here's what we're gonna make it look like. And I'm sure Danny DeVito himself probably said, "Really?"
Well, there's a funny meme I see all over the internet where Danny DeVito is answering a call and he's like, "Oh, it's Mr. Burton. Yeah, I'll grab my top hat," because he wears a top hat in Big Fish. He wears a top hat in this, and I swear there's more than those 2 examples where he's basically always just the top hat.
Whatever character has a top hat, that's Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
he's there.
he's got it.
Yeah. So the thing that I like about this movie is, once again, it's aesthetic. I think they knocked it out of the park with like the scenery, the buildings.
So the settings are amazing.
Yeah, the costumes are actually worse in this one because you see like one shot where Michael Keaton is like literally.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
I can't move my head, so I gotta rip this.
Yeah,
thing
he
off.
gotta
just
rip off.
rips it off. You're like, oh god.
Oh my lord, why?
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
You're
to
like,
this
he
man?
must have millions of these damn cows because he's like, he literally rips it off like.
Shit, that was 50% of the budget.
Right.
They couldn't get him out of the suit. They had to actually tear him out.
But like the scenery is great. Alfred, once again is
Like
Alfred.
perfection.
He's never bad.
Yeah, he's never
I'm
bad.
about to say, Alfred is literally, as I said earlier, the only character that is played to perfection
I
in the
can't get
entire
wrong.
Yeah.
quadrilogy.
But this is not a Batman movie. It's a Catwoman movie.
Mhm.
But it's not
Nah,
Catwoman.
don't bring up the Catwoman movie. We don't
Right.
talk about that.
Well, yes, but it's not a Catwoman in the traditional sense. I'm trying to think what this movie is like, where the titular character is in the name, but it's clearly not about him. But he's like a presence. I get what
I
Tim
think this
Burton-
movie was the example. I think this is the one people go to.
Hey,
you remember that Batman movie that focused more on Catwoman?
Yeah.
I feel like that's like people's go-to example.
I get what he was trying to do. I just think it didn't work. He was trying to make Batman the myth, a persona, but it just didn't work because
And instead it backfired and made Michael Keaton a side character in his own movie.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, I forgot the Catwoman actress's name now.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Thank you, Michelle Pfeiffer. Michelle Pfeiffer's a phenomenal actress. She's really great. But
Pause.
Go ahead.
No offense. This Catwoman is not Catwoman. She's not a thief. The only reason she's Catwoman is because she has cats that lick her for no particular reason. How did she get any kind of skills? Oh, I guess a cat licked her. Oh, buddy.
Cat burped in her mouth. Sorry, that was a cat
I hate
movie.
this. I hate this movie. I kind of want to give it negative stars, but I'll stick with one.
yeah, literally. So everything I said, I was about to say. I like Michelle Pfeiffer, but this rendition of Catwoman and rendition of Penguin was
Wrong.
we'll go with erroneously bad.
Yes.
Just to be nice. I think Brandon, I think you gave it a 2. I'm in
Yeah.
agreement with that assessment. It's not a movie I'd ever go back to watch unless I was watching it for this channel. So for the content.
Thank God we're done with it.
Yeah. But
So
never
I gotta
watched it.
share my first note. My first note from Batman Forever. Mind you, this was probably my favorite Batman movie growing up. And I didn't even notice this, but as an adult, my first note is 1 minute and 47 seconds into the film, Bat Nipples debut.
Joe Schumacher.
I
baby.
said Joel Schumacher knows what he likes, and we get a lot of it.
So, first time I saw this movie, that was literally the first thing I noticed. So I don't know what that says about my mindset, but
Oh my goodness.
continue.
No, you go ahead. You're good. Okay, so
Yeah.
I did. My next note is non-sexual. I said Gotham is beautifully lit, because yes, Joel Schumacher is into the man nipples and the butt cheeks and rubber, but he also knows how to make Gotham look popping, like literal pop
like
art
people-
popping,
Look like people want to live there, even though it
active,
sucks.
all over. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
That is something I've noticed about all these movies. At least setting wise, they never look bad.
Yeah, the settings. I was like, wow.
Settings look gorgeous. Now costumes, scripts, everything else probably a lot more shaky, but at least in terms of look and visuals and how the world is built, I can't really say any bad words about it.
So, before I go on a rant about recasting, I would like to say I believe Val Kilmer is a very fine Bruce Wayne, and he does a good job making Batman seem, good, much like Michael Keaton was, good at it. I'm just gonna ignore the bat nipples because it's for the best.
It's for the best. I like it.
But so I understand. Time passes, people move on, they do other projects, but how exactly is Tommy Lee Jones a good replacement for Billy D. Williams? Quick question. How does that make sense?
I think just Tommy Lee Jones was hot at that moment, and they were like, "Hey, we want Tommy Lee Jones. He's going to sell more tickets than Billy D."
And you know
truly
what?
believe that, too.
And I'm sure he did, but we're sitting here in 2023, and that was not the best choice.
Yeah.
So, I had a different person in mind for the role or the replacement of Billy D. Williams. That is. So I looked it up, and before I talk about who I was going to have replace Billy D. Williams, I would like to say I like Chris O'Donnell as an actor, but I hate him in the role of Dick Grayson. He looked 25. I looked it up. He was actually 23 during the film, but he was playing 17. He was playing 17, but he looked 25. So
He
there's
looked like a man's man. Sorry.
there's a different person that I think should have been cast in the role of both instead of Tommy Lee Jones and instead of Chris O'Donnell. So I'll start with Chris O'Donnell. Instead of him, they should have cast Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So at this time when the movie came out, he was starring in Third Rock from the Sun. So he was ready, willing, and able, like capable of going because he's actively acting, and he looked reasonably 17. Probably could pass for like 15 or 16. I don't know what his actual age was, but he looked young. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's a great freaking actor.
Yeah.
And if he would have stuck around for the next round, Batman and Robin, that is, all the better. But the guy that I thought would have made for a good replacement for Billy D. Williams, because I double-checked, he was acting, and that's Terrence Howard. So if they would have cast Terrence Howard...
Back then?
What? Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Terrence.
In 1996, he was acting, and so Terrence Howard taking on the role of Harvey Dent in place of Billy D. Williams could have continued on from the Harvey Dent that was the district attorney, while making it easier to believe that he's the same person. Whereas Tommy Lee Jones had to have a whole lot of backstory backfilled and like, I don't know, just basically pretend like Billy D. Williams never existed.
You know what would have been funny? That acid scene, it was a black guy, but that would have been a funny joke. Like, like, that makes sense.
But so the fact is that as much as I disliked Batman Returns as I was typing the notes, the more and more I typed up my notes for Batman Forever was the more affection I felt towards it. So there are things I disliked. Like I said, Dick Grayson looked too old. Like, what was the point of him moving in with Bruce? He looked like he already had his own apartment and probably 3 kids already knocked out. But Dr. Chase Meridian is a great addition to the franchise. She's finally somebody who can understand where Bruce is coming from because she can, get deep within his psyche, and Val Kilmer has a great rapport with her. So, oh my goodness, who have I not talked about yet? Jim freaking Carrey.
Uh-huh.
So, his Edward Nygma, while not perfect, is entertaining as the day is long. So, he
was doing... No, this is before In Living Color.
No, this was after.
It's after.
Is it after?
Yeah, this is 96.
Yeah, this was way after. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah. So he's already famous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. He's already done everything, like the
Mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Ace Ventura, all that stuff.
Yeah, he's already a big deal.
Okay.
But
never mind. Nor I said anything.
No, you're good. But like Jim Carrey, like I said, while not perfect, is not a serial killer. So hey, that's
big change. Big change
big
from the last 2 movies.
Big celebration on the fact that he, actually gives riddles and he is braggadocious about his intelligence.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought this was a far cry better than Batman Returns, and so to me, I gave it a good rating. So it's a once again a 4 out of 5. Because, yeah, it's... I mean, you couldn't really in my opinion, do worse than Batman Returns. That's how bad I felt about...
Well, about that.
Well, so... Okay, so what I'm about to say about this movie is going to sound like I hate this movie. So
however,
I just want to...
He only kind of hates this movie.
I'm ready.
This movie's really stupid and dumb.
Wow, actually more tame than I thought.
Because, the movie opens up with the bank heist scene with Two-Face.
Which is
He's
absolutely
like, I'm
ridiculous.
going to kill you, Batman. It's like, how? I'm going to drop acid in it. And you're like, you could just, like, there's, like, a million other things you could do. But besides that, I'm like, I love this movie as a kid. Like, loved it.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I think all
Same
of us,
here.
I think all of us
As a
loved
child, this is great.
it. And, Chris O'Donnell, I thought he was the coolest dude. Not Chris,
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell, yeah.
I thought he was the coolest dude. But, seeing, like, the scene where you're like, and Alfred's looking at him, he was like,
it wasn't until I was an adult that I could look at him and know he was an adult.
Right, yeah,
So,
exactly.
much like Power Rangers, I was
Thought everybody was a teenager.
as a kid. I'm a dummy, and I believe Chris O'Donnell's a kid or young adult, whatever, an adolescent, whatever.
Yeah.
And same with Power Rangers. But like as an adult, I'm like, all you people are adults. Like, are any of you people under 30?
I'm about to say, now that I'm a grown man, I've realized I can see who else is a grown man. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
What else? Oh, Jim Carrey. I like Jim Carrey. I think he's actually pretty for what he's asked to give into. I don't have a problem with Jim Carrey like at all as a villain. He is Joker-esque.
Yeah.
Well, Two-Face is too as well.
But now Two-Face is the true issue. I didn't even like Two-Face. I don't know. Maybe it's the purple and it just looked kind of silly.
It was a look. It was
Yeah,
too goofy.
but I never really liked Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face even as a kid. And that's why I'm kind of happy that they made him the secondary villain to me.
Can I tell you why in my opinion, why you didn't like Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face even as a kid?
Yeah, go.
Because as a kid, we got the perfect Two-Face. And that is the animated series Two-Face. Because Harvey
that is why.
had the personality issue prior to the burn, before the acid burns.
Yep, it was set
He had a part of his personality that he called Big Bad Harv, that he was scared of, that he thought, I got to keep this from the public because, people see me one way. And that was something I wanted more of in The Dark Knight. When, before he turns, I wanted them to allude to the idea that he had it within him already.
Yeah,
which
darker side to him that you just didn't want to let out.
Correct.
Yeah.
They never quite got to the place where I wanted them to.
That was
but
kind of a lazy way that they did it.
Right.
Like, they kidnap the guy. He kidnaps the dude who turns out to be like in now every DC movie. Who plays now Polka Dot Man and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he flips a coin and then, but in retrospect, you're like, well, he was never going to kill him because this coin didn't matter. But yeah, sorry, go on.
No, it's fine. All I'm saying is I think that the reason that it's so easy to dismiss Tommy Lee Jones's poor performance, and don't get me wrong, maybe it's what they were asked of him. I don't know. I wasn't on set. But regardless, what he gave was not good. And the reason I think it's easy to dismiss it is because we grew up getting the perfect Two-Face in Batman animated series.
I mean, I think this movie is just a perfect representation of, you can nitpick something to all hell, but if it's fun and enjoyable, and you're just like, you know what, Joe Schumacher said it best. He's like, I think I made for this movie, that I made the best comic book accurate movie. I think that's the words that he used.
Probably.
I think he made the best Adam West.
Yeah.
Kind of.
That's fair.
Actually, I think this is more Adam West than that was.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin is more.
But I actually liked Adam West's TV show.
Yeah.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like when you pull out the Bat credit card and you have fake lips on top of your lips. These all feel very
Campy.
Campy, exactly. Thank you.
Ooh, that's the perfect word for. Yeah.
What was your score? Did you give it?
A 3.
3. Okay.
Just so I didn't even.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew he hadn't yet. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah,
if you,
sorry. I gave it a 3.
Honestly, I don't have much to say about this movie. That they haven't already said. When I was a kid, I absolutely loved this movie. I had a ball. I really, really, really liked Jim Carrey's comedic stylings. So I was always cracking up whenever he was on screen. As I grow up now and I understand the character of the Riddler a little better, I'm like, got it. But
it is hard to dislike Jim Carrey's
but it's
performance.
really hard to dislike Jim Carrey, exactly.
Yeah.
So while he wasn't my ideal Riddler, I do think he played a great version of Jim Carrey's Riddler in the film. Didn't really have a problem with Val Kilmer. I think he looked.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
I just wish that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying throw Val Kilmer in the trash.
Nah.
I just like the concept of consistency, and so I would have been happy to get Michael Keaton back. But once again, when it comes to consistency, I would have liked to have gotten Val Kilmer in the follow-up because it's just nice to have consistency.
Yeah, but
just any consistency.
He and Joel Schumacher was not on the same page. They were not clicking, and he was like, "I do not want him back."
Not in the slightest.
One or the other. That's
I will say, Val Kilmer, I think I agree with Oz in saying like he looks like a better Bruce Wayne than even Michael Keaton did. Like he's just like, I look at that guy, I'm like, yeah, I can see him as Bruce Wayne.
Absolutely.
Like he just has that look about him and that the way he carries himself, especially back then. And I'm like, he's a good Bruce Wayne.
Absolutely.
As Batman, I didn't have any issue with him. Like I said, I really enjoyed his performance for what he gave. I'm on the same page with the Two-Face thing, and I think Oz just explained why. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I don't feel. I don't know what they wanted me to feel. I think that's the thing.
Right.
Like I think whatever. I want to think that he gave a better performance, and they said, yeah, Two-Face, I want you to give like 50% less. Just 50% less of that. And that's kind of what it was. Overall, I gave the movie a 3. I think it's like, now that I'm older, it's not as
yeah, it's
Yeah, you can see the
like
time did not treat it well.
right. Yeah.
Like I can see the flaws now that I'm like, oh, I've watched other movies and better movies, so I'm like, probably isn't as good as I remember. But I still, like, I could watch it with like my kid nephews and whatever.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
And then have a ball with it.
Yeah,
I would skip Batman. I would watch Batman, skip Batman Return,
Yes.
and go straight to
Absolutely. Yeah. So, speaking of skipping things, there was a.
What's that? You said set this on fire?
No. What I was going to say is, speaking of skipping things, I skipped a note from the prior film. They made a reference to Metropolis and the guy who's in Metropolis. Well, here in George Clooney's version of Batman and Robin, we get another Superman reference, and it makes me think. I was like, could Dean Cain's Superman have fit with George Clooney's Batman? Because they were Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman were on at the same time that this movie came out, and in the fact that they make 2 back-to-back references to Superman in Batman films, it just makes me wish that we could have had what.
No, finish your
Oh,
thought.
it just makes me wish we could have had, whether it was Christopher Reeves and Michael Keaton, or in this case Dean Cain and George Clooney. I just wish we could have gotten that world's finest team up in a world before we did Henry Cavill and Batman v Superman. Like, why couldn't that have been world's finest? My goodness, why
would have been a better movie name.
Brandon Routh and Christian Bale. Why not that? Please and thank you.
So what I was gonna say is the thing that I don't like about there's one character that shows up throughout this whole entire series that I never liked, and we kind of forgot about him, is Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, he's so inept.
Yeah, he.
Really?
I forgot about him.
I forgot to even mention him.
Just as perfect as Alfred is in every film, is how bad Jim Gordon is in all of these.
Yep.
God, I forgot to even mention him. That says a lot.
So it's weird. I at the beginning of this year, I did a Batman Year One retro review for Animation Celebration, and Bryan Cranston plays Jim Gordon in the animated movie. I forgot it was him when I was talking about it, and so I will say here, Bryan Cranston did a great job as Jim Gordon, but the thing that these films get wrong about Gordon is he's not every other Gotham cop. So all of them are bad, all of them are dirty, except Gordon, because Gordon is Batman's ally because he has nobody else to rely on, generally speaking. Eventually he gets, a crew built around him.
I'm about to say like 5 people.
But still, that's one of the reasons why Gordon can link up with Batman, is because he realizes that so many people around him are dirty and he needs to
have somebody you can trust to look.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other funny thing is, from Batman Year One, is the concept that, in my opinion at least, that Gordon takes the vigilantes' help because he sees that so many cops are working outside the law. Then I guess, well, if somebody's going to work outside the law but do the right thing, then I'll take that over people working outside the law and doing the wrong thing. But yeah, you're right, Brandon. Gordon was done dirty throughout this quadrilogy.
Yeah.
As noted by the fact we almost completely forgot to mention him. And we're 40 minutes in.
Yeah, almost 45. But Pamela Isley, Poison Ivy, she does she does Gordon dirty, just like she does Bruce dirty, and Dick. I'll say Mr. Grayson dirty.
Mr. Grayson.
Just
Oh,
so
yeah. So we're on Batman and Robin now. Good.
Yeah, we're on Batman and
All
Robin.
right. Oh.
Yeah, no, we're in there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, everybody looks like a fool when they come in contact with Poison Ivy.
It's like they've never seen a pretty woman before. It's crazy.
I know, literally.
And keep in mind, this is billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne. Like everyone else, okay, maybe, but I mean, it's Bruce Wayne.
But every villain in this film is done dirty. Bane is treated like a dumb
Jog.
Solomon Grundy. That's who they treat Bane like in this.
Mm-hmm.
A mindless henchman. Like just a walking wall of a person. And exactly. And I just don't like how Bane is treated. I don't like how Pamela Isley, Poison Ivy's treated. I hate freaking Freeze. Freeze should be sympathetic and
likable.
But
to a degree.
Well, you should at least understand where he's coming from. They finally do it after half the freaking movie, but by then it's too late, and he's all nothing but puns, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But one thing I do like about not Mr. Freeze, but Arnold Schwarzenegger is his friendship with Jesse Ventura, Jesse the Body, and Arnold was just great about getting his friends work. And I don't know if that's nepotism or what, but it's just fun to see.
He's the Hulk Hogan of the movie world.
There you go. Yeah, so that means that Jesse Ventura is the Bruce Beefcake.
Yep.
I like that. But so the only reason I can give this movie a 2 out of 5 is because it's fun, and I didn't have visceral hate flowing through me as I was watching it, which I did with Batman Returns. And so I know that's not high praise, but that's the best I can give it is I didn't hate it. And so that's how it got a passable or a pass as opposed to a complete and utter fail.
Yeah. So for me, originally I would have given a year and a half, 2 years ago, 1 out of 5. I absolutely despise this movie. But rewatching it, I think there is definitely one thing of merit that is truly great in this movie, or very good, that people will unanimously agree on. And that is Bruce Wayne and Alfred's relationship.
Absolutely.
I think this is probably one of the best. It's just bogged down by crap.
All kinds of
that you kind of forget.
Shovelfuls and shovelfuls.
Yeah.
Right, that you kind of forget that's in there. And, Bruce Wayne is coming to terms, hey, my friend, the man who raised me, is dying.
Absolutely.
And it's very touching. And that's where I think George Clooney
there you go.
is at his best.
Yes.
Now, I don't blame any of these actors, because you can find the deleted scenes and behind the scenes stuff, and
there are great documentaries
right,
about every one of these films.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're liking this video, I thoroughly recommend the box set, because every one of these have great documentaries.
Yes.
That's how I know that Joel Schumacher likes what he likes.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because he talks all about it.
And you find out that while making this film, studio interference, where they're like, hey, the last movie people love, but we really want to sell toys, so they've made the toys first, and then they try to make a story out of that to fill that.
Yep. They booked the wrong way around.
Right. Also, Joe Schumacher himself, he takes a lot of responsibility, unfairly and fairly, because he didn't write the script. But part of the thing with directors is you set the tone and stuff, and he's like, hey, it's for kids, and I don't like when people think kids are stupid.
Right.
It's like, hey, give us some credit here. We're
not that smart, but we're not idiots.
Batman animated series took us seriously.
Yep.
Yes, they didn't headshot,
Yeah,
but it's
right.
like you don't have to do that to be serious.
Right.
It's the subject matter.
There's a difference between gory and gritty.
Right, exactly. And I just think that this movie just lost its way because, one, Batman Returns was so poorly received, and it went so that they course corrected. And hey, Batman Forever was well received. But then they're like, hey, more of that, but with none of the substance that Batman Forever at least had a little bit.
Correct.
They added Catwoman. Not Catwoman, sorry, Batgirl.
Yes.
But she's not Batgirl.
No.
And people were mean to
Alicia
Silverstone,
yeah.
and it's like just like little things where it's like, hey, that's not even Commissioner Gordon's daughter because he doesn't have a character. We can't have it.
What's funny is, so not only did Commissioner Gordon not have a character, but Alfred gets every family member in this. So his niece, Barbara, he gets a brother, a sister, no, 2 brothers and a sister, I believe, because he's basically willing everything away and basically willing Batman away to the family. And so, yeah, no, the funny thing is, I guess it's because of, like you said, that great relationship between Bruce and Alfred, but I didn't even care that they changed Alfred so much. I didn't care that Barbara wasn't Gordon because if she was Gordon, what good would it have done?
Right, exactly. He
Wouldn't have helped her.
Right.
When there was no Batman-Gordon relationship.
Right.
To really
not like
pull that off of. So I'm like,
correct.
What do you mean my daughter's in a costume?
What?
Yeah.
What do you
He would have been like, I don't know what my daughter looks like.
I mean, I liked Uma Thurman because to me, she's the only one that got the movie that they were trying to make.
Yep.
It's like campy. It's like,
Yeah.
curses. It's like little things like that. And it's like, but
it's had some real Pulp Fiction with it.
right, but Robin is stupid. He's
What?
dumb. I was like, okay, Robin is not. Dick Grayson is not stupid. He's not.
God,
dumb.
he's not stupid. Oh,
Right. It's like, come on, guys.
He's supposed to take up the cow because of his intelligence.
Hey, shouldn't I get the car? Why don't I get the car? And it's like, come on, man. It's like you downgraded yourself to where you were before, and it wasn't much in Batman Forever.
Right.
But there was something there. I'll give it a 2. 2 out of 5. I used to despise this movie, but it's not.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Except I never despised it. As a matter of fact, I've actually gone down in the history of my life as far as my love for it, because as a kid, I can remember not understanding all of the nuance that Freeze should have, and just thinking, oh, Arnold is blue. That's cool.
Yeah.
I can remember loving Chris O'Donnell from things like The Three Musketeers and Scent of a Woman, and not being able to realize that he's 30 playing, 16 or whatever.
Right.
Yes.
It's kind of funny because I never really cared for George Clooney until this time that I watched it. And this time I watched it because of the standout performance of Bruce and Alfred. I liked George Clooney the most of any time I've ever watched it before. So, yeah. But yeah, I still only give it a 2.
Yeah, same here. Josiah.
Yeah, I give it a 2 too. The great thing about coming on the show with these two is they pretty much say everything I'm thinking. We kind of think very similar. I'd add just a couple things. I like Arnold. I really like Arnold's movies. I like him as an actor. However, I would not have casted him as Freeze. Now, that being said, I didn't come in here like Oz with a great replacement because those two you threw out. Were like,
that's well. I didn't think about replacing him either.
Yeah.
But I do have a question because
Yeah.
I feel like the show has always been on the air. So was Law and Order ? Special Victims Unit on in '99?
I believe so.
So the big tall guy,
Yeah.
something like Staten, whatever. The guy who's with the short-haired chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he could be a
Yes, it was on
sympathetic
in
Freeze.
99.
Okay, I feel like he. What's his character's name?
That I do not remember.
But I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I'll pop his picture up, but
Yeah.
whatever his name is, I feel like he could be a sympathetic Freeze, because that's what you need from Victor Freeze is somebody who you can relate to and understand where they're coming from and say,
Yeah, because otherwise he's just there.
you're not right, but I see where you're coming from there, pal.
I understand why you're on the path you're on. It's
Yes.
just
And as a matter of fact, I think that Arnold, while doesn't have the right accent, could make for a really good Bane as opposed to.
he would.
yeah, that would have been better Bane casting because he's already huge. You literally, it's like casting Lou Ferrigno as the Hawk. He was already a giant.
Yeah.
You didn't need to do anything else.
Personally, honestly, even I said this years ago, and I think Patrick Stewart would have been a great.
Oh my goodness!
I think he would have.
That is crazy.
Absolutely,
that
great.
is
Yes.
He has a deep voice.
Congratulations, so that's great
Yeah.
casting right
I
there.
think Patrick
I'm glad
Stewart
you had
would
that
have
thought.
been,
Yeah.
great.
That's brilliant. But yeah, outside of that,
Man, I'm thinking of every great performance of Picard. Now that you did that, it's like,
Yeah,
man, Picard knows how to deliver.
Yeah, because I love me some Star Trek, and ever since I was like, why did they just cast Patrick Stewart as Mr. Freeze? He's bald, but he has the deep,
You got the deep,
soft.
yeah, exactly.
And yeah,
Wouldn't even need to like deepen it or change anything.
Oh my goodness, that was good stuff.
Yeah.
Brandon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brandon's our new casting director for
Yes.
the Batman film.
I'm for it.
Yeah. I was never a fan of Batgirl. I just. It might just be because there's like these old school movies like don't really make women's characters
wait,
important.
am I the only person who liked Alicia Silverstone?
No, I liked her.
Okay,
I-
cool. Because
I like her.
I swear I had a crush on her. Is why I'm a fan. But like, there's nothing that makes her Batgirl, and there's nothing that makes it right. But like, I must have been just like,
Yeah.
man,
I mean-
I'm a big fan of this here.
Okay, let me preference this. So, yes, I had a crush on her because
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
Because you were alive.
Oh yes.
yeah, because I was a
Yeah,
prepubescent boy.
you're right.
Absolutely.
When I saw this movie.
Yeah.
But now that I'm a grown man, I'm like, okay, I like her as an actress,
Yes.
but just the way the character is written. Because now I'm older, I look at how the characters are written and now.
Oh, for sure. Just
they're
checking.
supposed to be
I was just-
portrayed.
yeah, I was just double checking.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't you worry. But yeah, don't worry. I am still a man.
But yeah, I can see where you're
But-
both coming from. That she's not accurate to what she should be. But
Yeah.
man, I couldn't help but be a fan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just feel like she could have been more.
And then
And I think that was the same vibe I had with Catwoman, two women.
for sure.
Two,
Well, and a
movies
funny
back.
thing about it is the out of nowhere costume changes cracked me up
Yeah,
watching this as
those-
an adult.
Now, that was funny.
So like they're leaving one scene in one costume and then entering a scene in a whole totally different one. And it's just like, man, you gotta
Yeah.
sell those
Well,
toys.
at first, because when I was watching this film back, I blinked like right when the scene change happened, and I opened my eyes. I'm like, did I fall asleep? Did they? This a whole different scene?
Yeah, exactly.
And then
I'll say this for funsies, just because why not? There is a spot in Everlasting Survivors Volume 1 All Day Long where I intended for Rishal to be in his superhero costume, but I didn't script it, and so he stayed in his movie set costume for the entire duration of a fight. And I hit up Jeff and I was like, hey, why is he not in his costume? He's like, you didn't tell me that he stopped off and changed. I was like, yep, you're right, I didn't.
You
and so
You sure did.
so I just thought that was a fun little
Easter egg.
Easter egg to the story where it's like, if you don't specify what you're trying to get across, then things might turn out different
Weird.
than you had planned. But the good thing is he was in a very combat ready uniform anyway, so
All right,
it's
so
all
it
good.
all worked out.
Yeah,
All right.
just wasn't the specific one.
I don't know why I'm
intended.
saying that like I didn't already read it, but
I know, right? Oh my goodness.
but
Yeah,
I'll-
guys, it
outside
was
of that,
super fun
yeah.
having you here, and if you don't mind, I would love to have you back in the month of February, because in the month of February, the All or Nothing is the Dark Knight trilogy.
yeah, so
And-
we're definitely gonna be back.
And so,
Because I just rewatched that.
So what's our throwing it away?
oh,
What's
so
our thing?
to me, nothing survives. So it's half and half. I got 2 below 3 and 2 above 3, but because the majority is not above 3 in my case, none of the quadrilogy survives. Brandon, I forget what your scores were. But,
4, 2, 3, 2.
oh, nothing survives for Brandon
Yeah.
either.
I had 5,
2.
2, 3, and 2. Yeah,
Ah, bad news. Batman quadrilogy, you did.
we did.
To the channel of Mr. Super Oz, you did not
You know
make
what the
it.
sad part is? If they made that one less movie, they would have survived.
Yeah, exactly. but yeah, and that's the good thing about the trilogy is there's no doubt about it. It's either gonna be all or nothing because
Yeah.
there's none of this splitting the difference crap that we got to deal with this, where it's like
I mean, if you want, we
if
can throw in that Catwoman movie too. It's technically a spinoff.
It was supposed to.
Uh,
No, it was supposed to be.
no.
I mean, it's a -1 on my end, so it doesn't really make a difference. Still would have been gone, but
yeah, I do not give that movie the
The
credit.
time of day.
Yes, to me, the Halle Berry Catwoman movie did not exist.
Yes, Patience
listen,
Phillips.
when I saw Halle Berry in that Catwoman outfit,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
great.
I'm all about the poster art. I'm all about the screensavers and the poster art, but
what is really crazy to me is Halle Berry filmed that and she was like 35 and she looked like she was in her mid-20s when she filmed that movie, and now she still looks like she's in her mid-20s.
Mm.
So
She's
Halle Berry is, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my
But-
god, yeah.
Yes, that movie.
Do you
trash.
think? Do you think she'll return for? I mean, this is totally off topic, and we're definitely wrapping soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
But do you think she is returning for Secret Wars? Because the rumor for Avengers Secret Wars is that all of the prior universes will converge and fight because the Beyonder wills it to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. Hell no.
I believe so, just because that's money.
Star power,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's-
I think she'll be there.
That is hella star power, but I guess the real thing is that she want to do it.
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does she-
she will.
does she-
Payday?
Yeah, you payday. That's
Cha-ching.
Yeah,
She's
that's
Halle
money.
Berry. She can make money doing anything,
But
man.
she's not as
I mean,
like,
she's barely gonna be doing anything. I
Right,
bet. I
yeah.
mean, it'll be her and Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart.
Show up, smile, pretty.
there's only one
Tobey Maguire.
person that's not, and that's whatchamacallit, who played who can walk through walls.
Kitty
Anchor-
Pryde.
Yeah, Kitty
Kitty
Pryde.
Pryde.
Yeah, that's the
Man.
only.
He said
person.
walk through walls, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, I mixed up my
I'm screwing this up, but I saw the rumored Beyonder, and it's driving me nuts that I can't remember who it was, because the Beyonder is the person who brings everybody together. It's a big
I'm
fight,
unaware.
and anyway,
Was the casting someone good? Was it like, oh, I can't believe it.
I would
They
well
got this
when
right,
I
or-
read it, I was like, I'm okay with that. But if
Okay.
you have seen who the rumored cast for the Beyonder is for the Secret War, put that in the comments below. And if you're still here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and come
Share with your
back.
friends.
Yeah, exactly. Come
Oh,
back
yeah.
Wednesday for the Wednesday Rewind, and show up this Friday for me and Josiah doing the longest video in the history,
In
of,
the
the
history of
channel
this channel.
ever.
And probably is going to remain. It's going to hold that record.
It's gonna hold it for a
long time.
hot minute. That's
Hey.
for dang sure.
Because man, at
Until
the end of
that
that,
dark-
we were.
So
We
that
were
Dark
dead
Knight
tired.
trilogy, because I got a lot to say.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to that.
I'm
That's
like
gonna be fun.
anticipating. Yeah,
Yeah, I've already rewatched. I've rewatched them all again.
yeah.
Awesome.
I rewatched them for fun. So this
No, yeah, ain't nothing wrong with
This
that.
is gonna be great.
All right,
Peace.
peace.